Hello everybody, my name is Manuel Cukaj, and today I'm going to present you the HeadHunter Group, ticker HHR, traded on the Nasdaq. My sector is international industrials, and you might wonder later on why my company is counted as international industrials, but the company operates in the human resource industry, and so that is included in the industrial sector. When I was screening for a company, I was looking for mainly a few things. First of all, I wanted to give our portfolio some emerging market exposure. And second, I wanted to look for a small cap company in the hope that there would be a higher chance that it would be overlooked by other investors. And thirdly, I wanted to find a company that has proven to have a robust business model and that was able to withstand during this pandemic. And fourth, I wanted to look for a company that has good growing opportunities over the next years. So what does the HeadHunter Group do? HHR provides an online recruitment platform that offers paid job postings, but also a paid access to its extensive resume database. This database matches job positions, open jobs, with the best suiting resumes with the help of its AI algorithms. Basically, you can imagine this like Indeed in the US. Besides that, the company also offers other career-related services, which are then different career and promotional services based on different fees. And lastly, customers or companies have the opportunity to buy bundled subscriptions of these services. So this could be a subscription to over 1 year, in which the company can post job postings but also has access to the resume database at the same time. The company's revenue breakdown is pretty straightforward. Geographically seen, 92% of revenues come from Russia and 8%, so the rest of the revenues comes from the CIS, the so-called Commonwealth of Independent States, which are a few states, smaller states around Russia. If the revenues are divided by the different segments the business operates in, then the job postings make up 40%, subscriptions 29%, the resume database 22%, and the other services I mentioned 9%. As I mentioned in the beginning, I was screening for a company that has opportunities to growth. So what are the drivers for growth of the HeadHunter Group? First of all, it's their newly improvised monetization strategy. So they introduced a new pay per contact model, which will take over from the old model, which granted unlimited access to the resume database. And now companies have to pay an amount for a certain amount of contacts they want to have access to. And then if they want to access even more contacts, they have to increase their fee they're paying. And this will help growing the top line of the business significantly. This transition to this new model will take 2 years, but will grow the revenues and also the average revenue per customer in the long term. Secondly, the blue collar sector adoption will help the company grow. Currently, the blue collar sector, the blue collar jobs, are still relying on old recruitment channels, which include newspaper, mouth to mouth, and for example, TV advertisements. But they are also shifting towards online strategies, and by doing so, the HeadHunter Group will get the chance to increase market share. Lastly, another driver for growth that is overlooked by the industry is the accelerated industry shift. And by that I mean that the current pandemic forces basically all industries to adjust their recruiting techniques quicker than expected. So there was already a shift towards online recruitment, like we experience here in the US quite a bit. But through this pandemic, also smaller companies and blue collar companies are forced to now transition much quicker than maybe was expected. For my valuation, I used the DCF model and two multiples. For my DCF, I used a 7-year forecast to capture the growth, but also the deceleration of the growth in the late years. I used a terminal growth rate of 2% to represent Russia's GDP, and a WACC of 10.34%. And my DCF gave me a target price of $29.45. For the relative valuation, I used 2021 multiples to show that the company is growing faster than its competitors. And for my PE multiple, I reached a target price of $25.42. And for my EBITDA multiple, I reached a target price of $21.21. Weighing all those three models, 60, 20, 20, the target price, the reached target price is $27, and compared to the current price of about $22, that represents an upside of 23%. If you have more questions about the exact numbers, you can ask me those on D2L. There are, of course, as always, a few risks to this stock, to this investment. First off, there are key shareholders that have a so-called lockup period to their share of stocks, since the stock just started trading about a year ago, and this lockup will expire soon, approximately in October. And if one of the big investors decides to sell all their shares, this could put a lot of pressure on the stock's price. Furthermore, of course, another lockdown related to COVID-19 would impact the company's growth, so would delay all the growth the company can achieve. But we have seen in the current pandemic and the earlier lockdowns that the company was still able to operate efficiently and recover quickly. And lastly, the adoption to online recruitment services has historically been slow, especially in Russia, and could of course grow slower than expected. Lastly, I'm going to quickly talk about management. Mikhail Cukaj is the CEO of the company, and he was appointed CEO in 2008, while he is also a board director of the company. He has extensive experience with different IT companies, also launching his own businesses and launching departments of bigger companies. Grigory Moisev is the CFO, also appointed in 2008, and Dmitry Sergenkov is the Chief Strategy Officer of the HeadHunter Group. Thank you very much for listening. I'm excited for your questions on D2L. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend the live Q&A, so make sure you post your questions on D2L. Thanks.